Hey there YouTube, I'm Forrest, Latter-day Skeptic. Today we're going to be going over a video from a popular Mormon YouTube channel called Saints Unscripted. They recently made a video on a topic that's very trendy in the Mormon church right now, prophetic infallibility. Members of the church have been latching onto the idea of prophetic fallibility because of the benefits it gives them in their Mormon apologetics. If you ever see a mistake from leadership, you can just blame it on the fact that the leaders are just men, including the prophet. However, the church is seeing that this comes at a cost. The cost is the trust of their leadership. Alright, let's hop into their video and see what they have to say about the topic.
Hello.
Today we'll be talking about prophetic
Fallibility.
fallibility. That's the word. I couldn't think of it.
Infallibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, strange way to start the video, and kind of weird that they forgot the word infallibility, but it is called Saints Unscripted, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know if this is like a news flash for you or like, I can't believe you didn't know this, but prophets are not perfect.
They're
No.
just like us. They're human.
Yeah. Just in case you
Mind
didn't know.
blown. That's
Already off to a strong start. They created a straw man. Nobody is saying that the prophets are perfect. What we are saying is that we've been taught our whole lives that prophets won't lead us astray. Yes, it's mind-blowing to learn that prophets can make doctrinal mistakes when you've been taught this your whole life.
President Nelson, would you ever lead anyone astray?
Oh, no.
That's not what prophets do, is it?
You know what the word prophet means? He speaks for God. And so, God won't lead you astray, and the prophet will not lead you astray.
We've been taught this since we started singing Follow the Prophet in primary. Stop blaming members of the church for having unrealistic beliefs that the prophet won't make doctrinal mistakes and lead the church in a wrong direction. Or one might say a wrong road.
If you have any examples, just one is fine, but of a prophet in the Old Testament's easy, low-hanging fruit, right? If not, current prophets, whatever you'd like to do, but maybe mention we would see maybe as a mistake made by a prophet.
I'm glad Leo asked this question, and I hope they have good answers.
I guess the big one that everyone knows is the story of Jonah. Like,
Yeah.
God say, "Hey, go here," and he's like, "No." And then,
Really? The big one that everyone knows? I thought for sure he was going to say blacks in the priesthood. Let's see if Sabrina has a better answer.
See, okay, so I don't know if this one counts as a mistake though, but I always just like, it's very nuanced, very complicated, the whole story of Abraham and Isaac.
Wow, bold choice, Sabrina.
Is from Sariah's perspective like that. Knowing like, hey, I just took my son up real quick to go kill him, but I didn't. So like, I don't know, that'd be really hard for me as her to see as not a mistake.
Sabrina, I think you're right. However, this answer is a perfect example of why prophetic fallibility is such a problem in the church. Everyone has their own definition for what counts as a mistake. The story of Abraham is a foundational story for Christianity as a whole. Mormons even use it as an analogy for following difficult commandments today. They call it an Abrahamic test. Good work, Sabrina.
Do we feel a little uncomfortable saying, because it's like we're not supposed to judge, right? Pass judgment, especially on a prophet. But at the same time, we're told that prophets aren't perfect. And so we need to be able to wrestle with what we see maybe our mistakes. And
Leo brings this up to highlight the fact that we need to feel comfortable calling out leaders for their mistakes. But we won't ever see members of Saints Unscripted calling out current leaders like they do for leaders of the past. Leo is addressing this because he feels we shouldn't feel bad about calling out current leadership because we feel comfortable calling out leaders of the past.
So we have this recent example of some introduction of new, I guess, or clarifying a doctrine. So Elder Holland, he has this little video you can find online if you just search for wrong roads.
Yeah, it's always hard to find what counts as doctrine. Good point, Leo.
And they were coming back from this camping trip or whatever, and they came to a fork in the road in their truck, and they prayed to know which way to go. They weren't sure which way, and so they prayed, and they felt both inspired to go down a certain road, one of the forks. And
the key point in this story is to remember that both men were inspired to go down this road.
Ended up being the wrong way. It was a dead end after a couple of miles. And he wondered why the Lord would have inspired him to do that.
Again, both men felt this confirmation.
Well, the Lord will sometimes guide us down a wrong road that will allow us to see quickly and clearly the right path, right? So it's kind of an interesting teaching, doctrine in our church now that's been introduced, which I think is very helpful in understanding prophetic fallibility.
And this is the crux of Leo's error in this video. If the Lord guides you down a path, then it's not a wrong path. It's just a path that you don't understand the purpose of. And that's a very big distinction to make. If you're following the Lord's guidance, you're not making a mistake. Fallibility has nothing to do with the prophet following the Lord's promptings and leading the church down a path that he doesn't understand. By creating this wrong roads analogy, Leo and Elder Holland have set the church up for perpetuating the idea of prophetic infallibility. I am surprised to see this from Leo, but I'm not surprised to see this from church leadership.
So I mentioned the policy of exclusion, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could have been considered theologically a wrong road. We went down this wrong road where we had to learn quickly that it was causing people pain.
Leo, was this a real mistake, or was it just a decision by the Lord that we don't yet understand?
Just to double down on that, all throughout like the Bible, New Testament, Old Testament, the prophets had something like anxiety, like Moses did, or like in the latter days, President George Albert Smith had like severe depression and anxiety.
Oh my gosh, Caleb, this is the straw man you presented at the beginning. No one is saying that the prophets don't have normal human issues.
Like, they go through the same trials and stuff that we have. Just because they're prophet doesn't mean that they're untouchable, they're perfect, and that they make faults. They go through the same stuff that we do. They go through the same trials, mental illnesses, afflictions, everything.
Stop patronizing us with these red herrings. Please talk about real doctrinal mistakes and not just the health of your leadership.
But that comes back to like natural man, like all throughout Old Testament, like Moses, the Israelites started worshiping the golden calf when he disappeared.
Gosh, you're really going to blame this on the membership. Why do you think it is that we believe that prophets won't lead us down wrong roads?
Do you know what the word prophet means? He speaks for God. God won't lead you astray, and the prophet will not lead you astray.
I guess it's just our desire to want to worship these old guys. Let's get back to the actual issue of doctrinal mistakes.
And then also like blacks and priesthood, like
Right.
all of these things.
That was a long, wrong road. Possibly,
Yeah.
potentially,
Yeah.
we could say there's a good historical research. The research has been done on the priesthood ban. Is pretty clear that it was a wrong road.
Again, Leo's original definition of wrong roads implies that God led the prophets to this ban. Is that the case, or was it just a genuine mistake made by men?
No, my question is, what do we do when we feel like something is maybe qualified as a mistake, but doesn't yet have that correction?
Yes, Sabrina, this is the number one question of Mormonism right now. Let's see what Leo has to say about it.
And this will answer your question, but in
Okay.
kind of a long way.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I was wrestling with prophetic fallibility, and my mind opened up, and I saw this large dark room.
A vision? Okay, interesting angle.
You're like out of obscurity and darkness that the Lord is restoring this church. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And I saw Joseph and Emma Smith go forward through this room and light a few areas of the room, humbly, stumbling through the dark, tripping and falling over different things, not understanding things.
So the prophets don't know everything, and they have a limited understanding. Okay, tracking.
And the Lord reminded me, I had a flashback in that vision to when I was like 11 years old. And I broke some windows with some friends in this construction site.
Oh.
And I went along with the group, and I threw these rocks in these gorgeous big glass windows.
Okay, prophets have a limited light, and kids like to throw rocks.
And the Spirit pierced my heart, and he said, do you condemn that 11-year-old little kid for doing that? Was he a bad kid? And I said, no, I wasn't a bad kid. I was just made a mistake.
Yeah.
And he said, do not condemn my servants for operating with limited light.
So because you don't blame little kids for their mistakes, you shouldn't blame prophets for their mistakes? Leo didn't answer Sabrina's question at all. He just said you shouldn't blame the prophets because they're operating under limited light. Perhaps this is a touching story for Leo, but he didn't address the idea of prophetic fallibility and how to deal with these issues in the Mormon church. I've been seeing this issue creep up in the Mormon church and causing a major divide. Check out the previous video I made that discusses the two main ways that I see Mormons answering Sabrina's question. What do we do when fallible prophets give guidance that our personal revelation disagrees with? That's all I've got. I'm Forrest, Latter-day Skeptic. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.